Kate Bush's 1985 hit, Running Up That Hill, has enjoyed renewed success recently following its revival on hit Netflix show Stranger Things. As we know, the show is set in the 80s and features pop culture from the time throughout the show. But how did the show's creators manage to persuade Bush to let them use her song? Today, we are discussing how Stranger Things convinced Bush to let them use Running Up That Hill as Max's song. First up, let's have a look at how the original performed. As we know, English singer-songwriter Kate Bush released Running Up That Hill back in 1985, with the song featuring on her fifth studio album, Hounds of Love. The song featured as the first single from the album and reached number 3 in the UK charts. It was actually her most successful song from the 1980s, building on the massive success of her 1978 smash hit, Wuthering Heights, which incidentally was the first self-written song to top the charts by a female ever in the UK. The song also found love in the USA, reaching number 30 on the Billboard Hot 100, and the first time she performed it live was actually with Pink Floyd member David Gilmour back in 1987. The song was critically acclaimed, and music journalist Amy Hansen said of it, "Always adept at emotion and beautifully able to manipulate even the most bitter of hearts. Rarely has Bush penned such a brutally truthful, painfully sensual song." However, this is not the first time the song has appeared on a TV show. It featured as the theme tune for 1986 BBC children's show Running Scared. The song was also remixed for the 2012 Olympics held in London, which featured brand new vocals. And of course, it has been thrust back into the public eye or ear of late with the release of Stranger Things Season 4. Are you a fan of Running Up That Hill? How did the show decide on Running Up That Hill? Well, thanks to Stranger Things, the song has seen a resurgence of late, peaking at number 2 this week in the UK for the first time in 37 years. But it could have been pretty different. The showrunners actually struggled to get Bush to agree to let them use the song, as she is notoriously difficult to deal with when her material is involved. Most artists love the idea of having their music used, as it brings in renewed attention and royalties, but Sony were quoted as saying, "Kate Bush is selective when it comes to licensing her music," before going on to explain that she wanted scripts and footage of the show before agreeing to anything, which is fair enough. After all, it is her music. The idea was for the show to find a song they could use over a few episodes, which would become Max's song. So obviously they needed something from the time period the show is set in. And when the show's music supervisor, Nora Felder, rediscovered Running Up That Hill, she knew it was the one. She said, "It immediately struck me with its deep chords of the possible connection to Max's emotional struggles and took on more significance as Bush's song marinated in my conscious awareness." But working in the music business, Felder was all too aware of the road ahead given the notoriety of Bush and her reluctance to give her approval. Are you a Kate Bush fan? So how did they convince Bush? Stay tuned to find out. Well, Felder explained that if her showrunners make a decision that they want a certain song, she makes it her mission to acquire the rights, admitting that she won't sleep until she gets the song cleared for use. The show had to put a pitch together to convince Bush, which involved laying out exactly which scenes the song would be used for, as well as creating elaborate scene descriptions that provided as much context as possible so that Kate and her camp would have a full understanding of the uses. When we finished, we were on edge, but excited and hopeful. Of course, her hard work paid off, and Bush, who is well aware of the show, even admitting to being a fan, allowed them to use it. And of course, the show hasn't been the only one to benefit. Whilst they did manage to acquire the perfect song for Max and her situation, Bush also benefited with streams of the tune increasing by over 8,000% and also hitting the top 10 in 34 countries, all thanks to Stranger Things. And the singer admitted that she was glad she had allowed its use, saying that the song is being given a whole new lease of life by the young fans who love the show. I love it too. She went on to thank her new fans and people who have supported the song along the way, going on to reveal how she is now waiting in anticipation for the second part of Season 4. Next up, the song could be set to hit even bigger heights. Stick around. This weekend's chart show will be eagerly anticipated for Bush and fans of the song, as Running Up That Hill stands a serious chance of providing Bush with her first number 1 in the UK for 44 years. Previously, there was a rule in place that stopped older songs from using streaming surges to provide them with increased places in the charts, but this rather ridiculous rule has now been abolished. The song is currently receiving around 700,000 plays per day on Spotify, so is clearly enjoying a new lease of life. So why wouldn't that increased popularity be represented with a surge up the charts? As we know, the top 40 was previously calculated by physical sales in record shops, but thanks to the advent of streaming services, that is all changing. It's just surprising it's taken so long, and with everything being digital nowadays, record companies who might once have printed less singles to push album sales can no longer manipulate the market in this way. However, streaming does provide a problem. If we were to calculate streams on a like-for-like basis, classic songs which get played regularly, for example, Ed Sheeran's Shape of You, would never leave the top 10. The record industry created a strategy called accelerated decline to combat this, which increases the the amount of listens an older song needs to stay in the charts. And Bush's song could be set for even more success, as it also features in the second half of Season 4. Next up, could a major character be killed off this season? As we know, this season has been split into 2 parts, and fans are currently awaiting the second part of Season 4 to drop. And all this waiting around has had some fans suggesting what might happen once the second part drops, and these rumors seem to have been confirmed by the show's creators, the Duffer Brothers, who said fans should be concerned about the fate of the main cast. The upcoming second part of Season 4 will only consist of 2 elongated episodes, with the finale resembling a feature-length movie at nearly 150 minutes, and fans have begun to try and decipher the Duffer Brothers' warning, with some suggesting that Steve could be about to bite the dust. The character, played by Joe Keery, was supposedly only meant to be around for 1 season, but his popularity convinced the show's creators to give him a new lease of life, and it is this that some fans are pointing to as evidence that his days are numbered. Of course, the Duffers remained tight-lipped on the idea, but Matt Duffer did say, "Everybody's always worried about Steve. I love it. We always have to beat Steve up somehow, so certainly the Demobats have done that job pretty well already this season." And his brother Ross explained how, although it felt wrong to say he was excited over a potential death, he is excited that people are concerned. Who do you think will be killed off? And finally, the Duffer Brothers have informed fans they have a couple of characters' names wrong. Matt and Ross Duffer recently issued a public service announcement for fans of their hit show, explaining that they have been calling a couple of characters from the 4th season by the wrong names. Taking to Twitter recently, the writing team explained that Enzo's real name is actually Dimitri, but it's okay if you want to call him Enzo. And although they seem okay with fans getting Enzo's name wrong, it was a little different for Peter Ballard. The brothers announced that Peter Ballard was a fake name for casting, and that his real name is Henry Creel. They prompted fans to start calling him by his real name, explaining that calling him Peter Ballard is weird. However, in the credits, he is actually listed as Peter Ballard, so maybe the show should address this first if they expect fans to change. Of course, Enzo, or Dimitri, is the prison guard who Hopper bribes, and Peter, Henry, is Vecna, after Eleven sent him to the Upside Down by mistake after he caused the lab massacre. As always, thanks for dropping in today, and remember to stop by again next time for some more fun and games. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on more fun stuff in future. Bye guys!